Hello?
Hello, is this Damon?
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Hey, Damon, this is Tommy Brayson. The call can be recorded and potentially uploaded. How can I help?
What's up, man? Yeah, man. I just been trying to find a way to make some money. Like, I'm trying to make six figures this year, man. And you see all them get rich gurus and all that. They really don't be helping you out. You know what I'm saying? I've been paying money on that a lot. I'm like, I just gotta find something real, cause like my girl 34, and she ready to have kids, and
Your girl what?
I'm trying to get my girl 34.
She's 34 years old and she wants kids.
Yeah, when the closer you get to 40, it's harder for a woman to have kids,
How old are you?
So, I'm 25.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to go ahead and get everything right financially, so,
What does she do?
I can go ahead and... Well, she was doing this little clothing line, like kind of like, not a model, but like selling clothes at the store.
Okay.
But,
She got kids? Or she got no kids?
She had a daughter, but her daughter passed away.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. But,
all right. How much money do you make per month?
Per month now? I make like $1,600 per month.
Yeah. Look, there's no... I mean, you know me, right? I'm not going to be here telling you, do this and do that, you'll make a lot of money. That's not what I do here. Things take time. It's just the way it works. I'm not selling you anything. Look, man, it's not about your time. It's about the right time. Sometimes not what you want, it's what you need. You feel me?
Right.
How long have you been with this lady for?
About a year now.
Yeah, bro. Look, man. You guys married?
No.
Then what you talking about kids for?
I mean,
you see what I'm saying? Look, man, you're skipping steps, man. And when you skip steps and you have somebody that's 34 years old, she's a little hurt, well, massively hurt. She lost a daughter. She doesn't really have a job, a stable job, and she feels like the time is running out on her, and she kind of wants to push you on it. It doesn't mean you gotta act, bro. Because one, you're not married to this lady. Two, you're not financially stable for this lady, because it's just not time. And three, you don't even got really nothing going on right now that to kind of say like, hey, I can have kids and everything's gonna be fine. You see what I'm saying here?
Right.
So it's kind of like you gotta be on the right path here. So say, hey, I know you want kids, but I can't have kids because I don't got no money. And I don't have any skills to make me a good amount of money to raise a family or yet alone to take care of myself. You can barely take care of yourself with $1,600 a month.
Right.
And I get that maybe you want to have kids because you feel like, for example, your chronological time is like about to expire or whatever, but it's not my time right now, right? And by the way, I think I read a statistic on that. Usually women, after 40, it becomes a little harder, but it's not like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? But the idea is it's either patience or you're 25 years old. I don't want to say this. You can find somebody else though. I'm looking out for you. That's what I care about because you're calling me, so I'm telling you the truth. But I wouldn't start from that point of view. I would start off by saying, hey, start with love, right? So you're saying like, hey, whatever your name is, I love you. I care about you a lot. We've been with each other for a while now. Let's start, for example, thinking about actually getting married and make sure that we actually get together. But even before I have kids, I have to make sure, for example, that I'm actually stable. So that means I'm going to have to get a skill. The reason why all these things you've been trying before, for example, whether it's like this little thing right here with this little course or this thing right here to make money, is because a lot of those things are just short term. So if you want a real skill, for a fact you have trades, you also have, for example, businesses, or you have, for example, college. If you become an electrician in the next 2-4 years, that's a job you can get $40,000, $50,000 a year. Just like that. If you become a lineman, that's $80,000 to $120,000 a year, even more. It's about getting a trade or getting a career. That's gonna take time. And for you, every time everything in your head is kind of like, oh, I gotta make 6 figures by the end of this year because this lady wants some kids. That's none of your business, man. You gotta make sure that you have your skill down packed. So you gotta choose whatever you're gonna choose to actually do, whether it's college or a trade job, and you gotta go into that. And then let me tell you something else, right? You can have a year being with this lady. Everything looks fine, maybe sex-wise or whatever, but now you have to kind of like, you got to investigate what's going on here. 34 years old at this age, not married just yet, so something might be wrong there. Not to say anything crazy. Some people are at that age to be married, But then you gotta find out these 4 things, right? Where are you guys when it comes to money? Do you have the same ideas? Do you share the same opinions on money? How are the in-laws? Do you know her family? Do they care about you? How are you gonna deal with it if anything goes wrong? Also, religion-wise, right? What's gonna happen? You guys have the same spiritual belief. Also, for example, kids-wise, does she want the same amount of kids that you want when you actually want them? Can you make a plan on that? Because it makes no sense you get pregnant right now. Now we're on Social Security or whatever it is to kind of like raise these kids or whatever, but I'm still over here struggling. And now because we have these kids, which are great by the way, but now you have another expense, just like economically, you got to think about how am I supposed to advance now? Does that make sense?
Right.
It's different, for example, if she has a full-time job and now you're going to be like the stay-at-home dad. That's a little different. But you're broke and she's broke, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Right? I'm being like this because I want you to really think about this. So if I were in your shoes, what would I do? I'm 25 years old, so I'm young. I have a job, so I'm not lazy, right? All I have to do is put my energy towards the right things. I'm making $1,600 a month. Who do you live with right now? You live with her?
Yeah.
A year, you live with her, and you don't got no plans to get married. You're very fast, man. So if you live with her, who covers all the bills?
We split them.
What does she do for work?
Huh?
How does she make money?
Yeah, I thought she do the clothing thing right now. She sell clothes and stuff. She sell clothes.
How much money does she make per month?
About $2,000.
So she makes $2,000. She's a breadwinner, and you make $1,600. That is, for example, $3,600. Now, does she want to keep working when she has kids?
Nah, she said nah. I don't think so. No.
Yeah, bro. So what you gonna do? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I'm you, and I like this lady or whatever, and it sounds like you love her because you're living with her already and all this other stuff, I'm asking myself, yo, we got to make a plan to make sure we actually get together. I'll probably get some books on pre-marriage counseling because you got to ask the right questions because you don't want to end up in a divorce, and also understand that there's a gap in age. There's a 10-year gap. Not that crazy, by the way, though, because when you're 50, she's 60. When you're 60, she's 70. It's not that big of a gap at all. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be prepared for this stuff. You got to ask these questions now, because when she gets her diapers changed, you got to change them. You know what I mean? So you got to be prepared for everything. But the main point is, if I were you, what am I doing here? I'm saying, hey, babe, you want to have kids? I want to have kids. Let's make a budget, get everything in order. Our main 4 budget areas are basically shelter, utilities, transportation, and groceries. Let's keep them very low. Let's use the surplus of our money to figure out exactly what we're going to do. If I want to go out there and get a skill, that's going to take me 2 years to 3 years, maybe 1 year, dependent, right? But now this allows me to make money to basically replace your income. So that way we're not going to be worried about that. And also, you can't be living with somebody before you marry them, right? So you got to kind of ask yourself like, yo, you know, it's what they say, right? No, don't do that. You got to get to know them and all this stuff. No, what happens a lot of times, you move in with this person and now you become very attached to them and you can't see beyond their deficiencies because now you're super attached to them and they kind of got you. You feel me? So now you got to kind of ask yourself like, yo, okay, what are we going to do here? Do we want to get married or no? And by the way, I'm not saying that this lady is this or anything like that, but there are women that sometimes what they will do is they'll have a guy for a kid and then just replace you with the kid. You know what I'm saying? Might get rid of you, just keep the kid because they really want a kid or whatever. And I'm not saying that's your situation here, but you got to come to balance here and say like, hey, let's get a budget. Let's work towards using this money to either get married if we're actually good. Once you do like pre-marriage counseling. And then once you guys are married, say, hey, let's focus on now using the extra money we actually make right now to focus on me getting a skill. So now if she's putting her money and also your money towards paying for the skill, that way once you get the skill, you're debt free still. Now you're making $40,000, $50,000 a year, which is a good amount of money. Now you have to say like, well, do I want to have kids? Because it's not like also what she wants to, because she's on a deadline, but that's her deadline. But remember, that's going to be your responsibility for the next 18 years also, right? So you got to be on the same page with her and all this stuff. I'm not here to break anybody up. I've spoken to you for maybe like for 10 minutes or so I don't know the full story here. But what I am saying is, from being an outsider and being outside, I can see cracks. So it's important that if you love this lady, you fill in those cracks. You see like, hey, I noticed this, I noticed that. Let's talk about it. Because how am I have a kid with you? I'm not married with you. How am I have a kid with you and I'm broke?
Yeah.
Right? And being and being well off doesn't mean, for example, 6 figures. Being well off can mean I make $4,000. My bills are $2,500 a month. I have $1,500 extra to do whatever I want with it. That's fine.
All right. Yeah.
And it's nothing fast. There's no scheme here. That's not what I'm ever gonna give you. So I wouldn't be investing into anything right now. The only thing I would invest into is a career. So my advice is I follow the rule of 10, right? When it comes to getting a career. So what is the rule of 10, Tommy? The rule of 10 basically means you make a list of the top 10 jobs that you want, career-wise. And for everyone that says, I don't want to have a job, I don't want to listen to anybody else, the answer is you have 24 hours in a day. So while you work 8 hours, take the other 4 to 8 hours to work your business until it works out for you. But you need a career initially. So the rule of 10 says you write down the top 10 jobs that you want. You do all the research on them. For example, how much do they pay? Do you like them? How long does it take to actually get those jobs, right? And what's the growth in that industry and everything else? You know, for some people that might be, for example, hey, I want to be an electrician or I want to be a trucker. My cousin's, where do you live, by the way, bro?
I think in Savannah, Georgia.
So you live in Georgia. Okay. My cousin, he lives in New Jersey, so it's a little different. But he's a trucker. He makes like $6,000 a month, right? Trucking is an industry that's paying you a lot of money these days. If you want to do something like more technical, that's fine also. If you want to go to college, that's fine also. But it's not about her deadline. It's about doing things when the time is right. Does that make sense?
Right.
Because if you do it now, and let's just say her clothing business goes down, you're gonna be struggling, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's all it is. But yeah, so write down those top 10 jobs you want. Do all the research on them. Cross off until you get only 3 left. And the one that you pick, make sure it's the one that you like the most. It'll make you a good amount of money, but you got to make sure you like it as a career. It's something you're going to do for a while. So it has to have some type of purpose to it, fulfillment to it. Does that make sense? Yeah, have a conversation with her, man. Talk to her. I know like you're the younger person here, but once you become the husband and you start to do all this stuff, man, you're going to be the head of the household. So you gotta let her know what's going on. You feel me?
Yeah. All right.
Any more questions?
That's it, man. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man. Welcome to the long-term team. No shortcuts. And these are not like a one-time call thing. So if you want to call back and you have questions or whatever, feel free to do so. I want to hear how this turns out, man. So keep me in touch. And remember, right? This is your time. I shouldn't say it's your time because you're not married. But once you're married, it's you guys' times. You know what I mean? So it's to making sure that whatever you guys are gonna do, you guys do it together and it actually makes sense. And talk to your friends, your guy friends about this. Talk to a counselor, a pastor, whatever it is, and explain to the situation because sometimes you might be blinded. Okay, so just make sure and if everything is on par, then it doesn't matter. But at least you checked and made sure that everything is good. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
All right, brother. See you next time. Peace out.
All right, appreciate it, man. All
right, guys. So that right there was a very interesting call. That was Damien. A lot of the times, a lot of financial topics are not financial topics. What they are a lot more emotional. Because money is very simple. You make money, you try to make more money, you save something. Don't go too crazy, right? It's pretty simple. But it's all the emotional entanglement around it. Now, you're with a lady, I think her age was 34 years old, right? So time is ticking here. And the idea is, I don't want to wait until I'm 40, but you're broke and I'm broke also, right? Not crazy broke. She makes $2,000, he makes $600, but they're talking about having a kid before they talk about having marriage. So it's kind of like, well, if I have what if they have a kid and now he's like, I'm out, peace out, I don't like this, right? Because he's young, right? You gotta make sure you kind of like make sure it's actually the right thing for you guys. So make sure everything actually fits. But then the main thing is, I suffer from this also, where I've been very impatient in my life. I want something, so I want it now. But sometimes not what you want is what you need. And to make sure that it actually makes sense for you. So if you're over here working a minimum wage job or a part-time job, whatever it is down in Georgia, the answer is you can't just do that. right? You gotta have a reason to upgrade your skill. Now you got a reason, right? You wanna have kids. That's awesome. It's a beautiful reason. But go out there now. I need to get, for example, a trade job, a career, a degree, whatever a license, whatever it is, I don't care. But get an upgrade to your skills. Tell me by the end of this year, I gotta make 6 figures because she wants to have a baby. It doesn't work like that. Sorry, doesn't work like that. So it's a conversation. You go to her, hey, I wanna upgrade my skills. I wanna do this, I wanna do that. I'm gonna do this, you know? So that way now you have a plan. All right, 2 years from now, you're done with your career or whatever it is, right? Or maybe 4 years from now. You're able to say, well, now you're 38 years old, but I'm making $50,000 a year or 60K per year. We can have a kid, no problem. Everything's fine. But before, can I actually have a baby making $600 and now you don't want to work? It's a problem, right? It's a problem. And that's what I do, guys, okay? I want to be honest. I don't want to hold back anything. The last thing I want to do is have a call with someone and have it end and me thinking, like, while I'm sleeping, like, I should have told this guy this thing, man. Because that sounds a little weird. So I'll tell you everything I got to tell you. That's what I do here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for these calls. I really appreciate them. If you guys want to call me next time and actually join me on these calls, the calls are still free, by the way. So schedule a call. The link is down below. Schedule a call today and I'll give you a call. On top of that, also, if you like these videos, support them by liking this video. On top of that, also, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified. On top of that, also, if you want to DM me on Instagram. Because, by the way, Damien actually DM'd me on Instagram and then got a link to schedule an appointment. And that's how we kind of set everything up. Okay, guys? I'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, peace, more content here. My face is here. Subscribe right here.